What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. So this week we're back working on the mini drift trike project. So if you saw last week's video, we took my little mini bike and mounted up a little ATV axle on this thing, got the new shock all mounted up, so got this thing looking like a three-wheeler, even mounted up a bigger front tire just to replace that super small one, and got this thing pretty much to this point here. And now we got some new tires to mount up on this bad boy. I ordered up, so these are just a little bit smaller than the ones that are on here. It's gonna be kind of hard to tell, but they're about an inch smaller all the way around, which should be perfect because they will fit right in these drift sleeves here. So as you can tell, they fit perfectly. So once I mount these up and actually air them up, they should be nice and solid. So I got this thing up on some wood right now so I can get these wheels all pulled off of there. And then I even picked up a new jack shaft sprocket that switches over to a 420 chain instead of the 35 chain one that's on there. And it's got like a new keyway and a couple little new lockers just to kind of fix up the jack shaft if I need to. Get a chain slapped on this thing, and we should be kind of driving around by the end of this video. But we do have a little bit of a late start to this week. It is currently Wednesday and this video goes up on Friday. So I got today and tomorrow to get this thing finished up and at least drive it around a little bit for you guys, because I'm pretty eager to drive this thing around and kind of want to feel it a little bit. I do have a lot of work to still do on this thing, like reinforcing the whole back end of the frame, because I did notice that it has a good bit of flex where it mounts up there. So I do want to kind of build a little metal section on the back here that connects it and ties it all together. So I've been thinking a couple of good ideas. Been thinking about just kind of U-ing, doing like a U section all the way around, kind of around the coil there. That'll give clearance for the sprocket and the coilover itself, and then it should be able to have suspension travel. And I was thinking about building some little kind of feet sections off the side there, but that'll probably be in next week's video when I have a little bit more time. But today, let's get these tires mounted up, and then we can actually start seeing this thing as a drift trike with the sleeves on there and all that, and hopefully drive this thing around once we get a chain and sprocket slapped up on there, slap some gas in it, and test her out, see how she does. So I got the old tires pulled off there and got the new ones all mounted up, and they are looking sweet. I am super happy with how they came out. Definitely leveled out the frame a ton and helped with that front rake I had before, lower down the rear a little bit. So now I just got to get those sleeves all mounted up. The only thing is my little Harbor Freight compressor over there couldn't really air up these tires, so I got to end up taking those things to work tomorrow with the air compressor, and I could beat them all up and then get those sleeves mounted up. But for right now, we can get the new sprocket swapped on the jack shaft real quick, get a chain all cut up, and then this thing should be pretty much ready to ride tomorrow. Luckily it's already dark out, so I wasn't really planning on riding it today, so I can kind of just look over everything, make sure she's all ready to go, and then we can finally take this thing for a rip and see how it does. So I'll probably catch you guys tomorrow once we actually have it ready to roll, tires are pumped up with the sleeves on there, and we can take her for a ride. So I'll catch you guys tomorrow. What's up, guys? So it's the next day now. Ran out, got the wheels all pumped up, and they are looking good. Even slapped the sleeves on there as well, and they're nice and solid, so I ain't gotta worry about them going anywhere. So now that these are all ready to go, we can finally get them all mounted up on the trike here. Last night, I ended up mounting up the chain. I ended up slapping a little sprocket on the jack shaft there, and then just doing a couple little odds and ends to it, like swapping a couple collars and a nice long keyway in there, because I've lost a few little keyways, like this one right here. Whenever the little set screws come loose and they start sliding around a little bit, you lose those keyways real quick. So a nice long one in there should hopefully keep it in there. It's kind of crossed my fingers. So now that that's all ready to go, we can get these wheels all slapped up on there, fill this thing up with some gas, and finally try it out for the first time. So I'm gonna get these all mounted up real quick, and then I'll catch up with you guys whenever this thing's all ready to roll. So I just got the wheels and tires all mounted up, and this thing is just looking sweet. The wheels definitely leveled out the frame a ton. I definitely think I might get just a slightly bigger tire in the front in the future, but other than that, I'm pretty happy with this thing. The only thing is it needs the reinforcement and all the extra bars I've been talking about a little bit, with kind of bracing everything all together and then building some little foot sections. But I gotta show you guys what she's looking like. So this is the final product. That thing is looking sweet. So you can definitely tell it leveled out the frame a ton. It definitely needs just a slightly bigger tire. I think this one's a 13, so I need like a 15 on there. But everything is looking good. Everything lined up nicely. I just gotta make sure I did center the axle right, because with the way you can tighten up the chain on this thing, you can definitely like kind of lopside the axle a ton. So I just hoping that's pretty center. It's center on the bolts itself. I just gotta make sure it's kind of center with the bike, see if it's driving way to the right or way to the left. Everything's looking pretty good so far. So I got some gas in this thing, so let's start this thing up. I never showed you guys this, but this thing does have a crank start, so I gotta get the handle for that. I'm gonna prop you guys up, and then I'll show you guys starting this baby up. All right, now that I got you guys set up, I've been really wanting to show you guys this crank start, because I've personally never seen it on any really YouTuber builds. I've seen it a little bit on Facebook. That's really where I found it, and I can't remember what company sold it, but this thing is sweet. So you just kind of give her a good couple cranks, lock her in place, make sure all your switches are off. Oh, didn't start, so try her again. Let's try this again. The choke was open the whole time, and this thing is bone cold, hasn't been started in who knows how long. So let's try it. It should start this time. Damn it! You're being a pain in the ass. Now you guys are watching the struggles of what it's actually like behind the camera. Alright, let's see. Hopefully, there we go. Hell yeah. Oh, Jesus. So I'm gonna let this thing warm up for a little bit. Probably strap you guys up to my chest cam, and we'll take it for a ride. I'm a little nervous. This is my first ever trike I'm ever riding, so but yeah, she needs to warm up. I'm a little nervous because this is the first trike I've ever ridden ever, so it's gonna be an experience to feel, especially on this thing, especially how shoddy it is. So I guess it's only one way to find out. So I'm gonna let it warm up, hopefully get it running decent, and then we can actually drive it. So get you guys in a second. Well, every good build comes with a couple loose bolts, all right? So I was just trying to let this thing warm up for a little bit, and then I realized that the exhaust is a little loose on there. So I'm gonna have to tighten that thing up so that I actually get all the back pressure and let all the exhaust actually go out there instead of burning my leg. So now I can finally tighten that up, get this thing running. We'll take her for a little ride. Hoping you guys can see pretty well, but let it warm up for a little bit. So I think we can finally take her for a little bit of a rip, see how it does. Crank her over a few times. Choke off, all the buttons are off. Nice. So I did notice that the chain going from the clutch to the jack shaft is pretty loose. So we'll see how that does. Oh man, I'm nervous. Just don't fall. Falling is my only thing. This thing is kind of tippy. But for some reason this chain got super loose out of nowhere. So I don't know, maybe I bent something or broke something. Let's pull it into the shop, let's check it out, let's see what's going on with this thing. Alright, so I didn't really need to pull it in to notice this one, but I was just looking over the frame. I'm curious why this thing got so loose for some reason. It's gonna be hard to tell, but way in there is a nice old crack forming right around this joint. So that probably tweaks something. These things aren't touching yet, but they definitely weren't that close before. So this is kind of a good reason why you don't test your projects before they're finished. I definitely should have done some frame reinforcement before I even test drove or did anything. But it is what it is, you learn. To be honest, this chassis is probably just going to be a little bit too much work to actually get it to where I want it. So I'm considering maybe even doing a whole new frame with all the parts from this thing. So I'm not too sure, But for right now, maybe I'll end up bracing up the rear end at least before I end up doing all the tubing work I want to, and then actually see how it does. And if it keeps cracking even worse, then it might just be time for a new frame and kind of reset up and rethink out this plan of doing the drift trike with a mini bike frame pretty much. So for right now, I think I'm just gonna slide the motor up a little bit because it's still slotted on the motor, so I can just slide the motor up a little bit, hopefully tighten up this chain and test it out again, kind of see what happens. If it breaks, it breaks. If not, then cool, we get a little bit of fun. If it breaks, I might have another frame sitting in the backyard that we could use and take a lot of these parts and mount it up onto that thing, and it would be 10 times nicer on this thing. So I don't know, that's kind of more what I'm leaning towards. Alrighty guys, I think I tightened up the chain. I just ended up sliding the motor up a little bit, and this is a ton better than it was before this thing could like swing all around. I just need to give it a little bit of slack just in case. Everything's all nice and good now, so I guess we can finally test this thing out. And I guess if this rear end snaps off, it'll make great content for you guys. But other than that, we might have some fun with it a little bit. But I'm still leaning towards possibly rebuilding this whole bike with a different frame and then just using a lot of these parts. But other than that, let's take this thing for a ride, get her cranked up, get her going. All right, which way do I go? Ow. All right. I must have left it cranked up already. It's finally. Oh no! Ah, you're a pain in the ass. Of course. Speak too soon. Get her cranked up. Let's see if she's good now. Alright, let's take this thing for a ride. It's fucking doing that. How is it jumping over there? And this thing is super tight. What the fuck? It must be really just flexing the frame that much where it's jumping. Alright, well, let me pull this collar off, get the chain put back on there, and we'll try her again. So I pulled the bike back in the garage to slap the chain back on, and it is way loose again. So I think I might have twisted the frame a good amount this time, and I'm noticing a couple more cracks in the frame. So I think she's getting a new frame next video on this thing. Luckily it's got a ton of good parts still, so we can use pretty much almost all of it except for the metal frame itself and maybe the forks. But other than that, it is what it is. You gotta learn one way, so I'll show you guys. So this is the chain now. You guys just saw that thing was super tight, and this is all put back together. So I noticed I got a new crack forming right on the frame right there. It's gonna be kind of hard to see there, but this one's definitely getting way worse. Now you can really see it going around that pole there. I'm pretty sure it's crack on this side too. And then you can see this tab is literally just, it's pretty much touching right on that bar there. And then that one is kind of way tweaked as well. So this frame definitely got a little twisted from all the power, but it is what it is. It was a trial and error. I wasn't really planning on keeping this frame forever. I was planning on making a new frame later on, or at least whenever I structural kind of rebuilt the whole rear end, it would at least look a little bit better. But I never really liked how this thing was looking, at least frame wise, just because I don't like how tight the motor is in here. I want a little bit of room. I wanted to do a different gas tank, so I need to figure out a lot of things to even get this frame to sit right. The seat is aiming down, so it definitely sits a little weird. So I want something that sits a little bit more flat, and then the handlebars a little bit taller. So it is what it is. I guess we live and you learn. So you guys will see probably in a week or two. I'll get a frame, and then we can start swapping all the parts over and actually build a way nicer drift trike, and then I could actually build it pretty much from the ground up with you guys, and it'd be a cool little project. So I don't really mind. I really want to get a drift trike project though, because I've been dying for a trike for a long time now, and now that I finally got one and it's broken, I really need one. So, and it was definitely a blast just drifting around for that 1 second I did. So hey, gotta do what you gotta do. So hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I know it was just a simple one, really just slapping the tires on there with the sleeves and then getting the chain all set up on there and then trying to drive it, and then ended up twisting the whole frame and pretty much destroying this whole project. But it is what it is. That's kind of the fun of it. Hey, I don't really mind. It gives me more time to work on a new project. So hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, hope you like, comment, subscribe. Stay tuned for more content, and peace out.